Hello and welcome to another in the Ask the Data Governance Coach video series. And today's question is sent by somebody who's clearly suffering some pain. So the email I got was asking about how do we get users to adopt data governance in a culturally resistant environment. So I think even just the wording of the email made me feel this person's pain. It is a pain that I felt a lot, and I know so many of you have as well. So definitely one that I wanted to do a video on. So I think that there are a few things I can hopefully tell you to help me progress with this. But I think the one thing to really consider is that organizational culture is the be all and end all when it comes to the success of data governance. So we have to change our organization's culture. We have to get those business users to adopt data governance. But I do think that really changing an organization's culture can be a bit like redirecting the course of a river. It's possible and it has been done, but it's really hard work. And I think we mustn't underestimate the amount of effort it's going to take us to do this. So how are we actually going to do it? I think there's a number of things. First off is to remember that data governance, I've said this so many times, and I'm sure I will say it many times more, data governance is more about the people than anything else. And if we rush on to try and put in place processes and roles and responsibilities, if we haven't got the hearts and minds of the people in our organization, it's just not going to work. We've got to make data governance this thing that people want to do. And clearly, we're not going to get everybody in our organization to want to do it. We need to get enough to be able to make this happen and make that change start to happen. Remember, data governance isn't about the stick approach and making people do this. It's about the business value it delivers, the problems it will solve. So if we can explain it in that way, it's easier to get people to come with us. So how are we going to get people to understand that and come with us? Well, I think we need to split that into two ways. First off is we need to get some really senior support for our program. And the only way to get senior sponsors involved and supporting us is to be able to talk to them about what they care about. And let's be really blunt here. They're not caring about data governance. They care about, the strategic goals of your organization. So we need to talk to them in terms of how data governance is going to help them achieve those goals. Telling people they'll have better data quality isn't going to win them over unless we can tie that better data quality to something that they do care about. So you need to start thinking about not saying, well, the data governance, the benefits will give us a good quality, reduced costs. Yes, but how? And what does it really result in? Because our senior stakeholders are only interested in those end goals, not better data generally. We need to tie that to things they care about. Once we've got some senior stakeholders supporting us on board, we need to now talk about converting as many as of the rest of the organization as we can. And with that, we need to find some examples of real pain points that have happened in your organization that have been caused by a lack of data or a lack of data quality. And I like to call these my data quality horror stories. So we need to be sharing some of them, and really we need to start building them into some basic data culture or data literacy training, getting people to think of data as an asset, to realize that we need to manage it in the way we manage our other assets. So as you can see, that sounds really simple and quick for me to say. It's a lot of effort in practice to actually do. And I can understand why people think, well, we'll skip all that bit because that's hard and there's a lot of communications and briefings and a lot of people to talk to. Yes, it would be far easier just to get on with designing processes and roles and responsibilities. But if we haven't done that cultural groundwork, then the rest of it isn't going to be well received or adopted. So I think we've really got to put in our effort. Now, clearly, if you work in a large organization, you can't think about changing the whole culture of the whole organization before you even start doing any data governance. You're just not going to be given that kind of leniency. So I think we've always got to start small, identify an area, a pilot, a proof of concept that's more willing to work with us. deliver some results, and then we can use that as like our own internal case study to say, look what I've done, look how I've helped this area. And it's a lot easier then to roll out area at a time or data domain at a time, whatever works for you. So I think we have to work really hard on the culture. If your culture is initially resistant, you've got to find out what people in your organization care about and work out how data governance helps solve those problems. Because if they're interested in solving these other problems, they don't care about data governance unless data governance helps them achieve what they need to achieve. And I think that's what we've got to remember every time we're talking about data governance. So I hope that has been helpful. If it has, you might want to watch this video, which goes into a bit more detail about why your company might want to do data governance. And I really recommend that you sign up to this playlist, which is all my videos that are related to getting started in data governance, because this culture side is all an important part of getting started.